Brothers. Barbecue competition, live music, food trucks, drinks, and of course, barbecue. Visit PWEEENT.com to purchase tickets to sample all the barbecue or tickets to the Gatlin Brothers, 7 p.m. Saturday. Net proceeds go to the new Charter High School for Trade Skills. Friday, 5 to 9 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Presented by Owens Corning, The Farm at Ridgeway, and PD Enterprises.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Integrated Media, Columbia's leader in today's technology for your home and business. They've got TVs from Sony and Samsung, surround sound systems from Dolby, Sonos wireless speakers, Wi-Fi that works everywhere, even cameras to see what's going on around your home. They've got you covered. Call Integrated Media at 803-948-8327. Set up a time for them to come out to your house and talk with you about your wants and your needs. You want to cut the cord? They can help. Want one of those beautiful Samsung frame TVs that looks like art when it's not turned on? They do that too. Plus fantastic outdoor systems that let you enjoy your favorite team, movie, TV show, or music while you also enjoy our beautiful South Carolina weather. You can even stop in and see them at the Experience Center, 105 Snapdragon Court and Chapin, and get a real idea of what these things look like in your home. Do what I've done, and many of your friends and neighbors. Call 803-948-8327 and get home theater like never before from Integrated Media.
Since 1963, Takeuchi has been a pioneer in the compact construction industry, having developed the world's first compact excavator in 1971 and the world's first compact rubber track loader in 1986. Takeuchi continues to revolutionize the industry through innovative technology and listening to customer needs. Now you can partner with a truly global leader by contacting TEC Rental Equipment in West Columbia, Orangeburg, and Somerville. From world first to world leader, Takeuchi.
Have you had a broken windshield compliments of those South Carolina roads? The insurance company might try to steer you one way, to the big national guy. But remember, it's your choice. Go local. Call Absolute Glass.
We can repair your car back to factory specifications, including recalibrating all of your safety systems. We do great work and have been building long-lasting relationships for over 20 years.
That's why we've been voted Best Glass Company in Lexington for 15 straight years. Visit us online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com or call us at 951-7200. And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia.
Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship.
A Cumulus media station.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour
With Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head.
on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
On 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5
The Game in Florence.
You give me that funny feeling in my tummy.
11 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Welcome in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you on what is now the final day of SEC Media Days. 4 more coaches left to speak. Sam Pittman actually up at the podium as of right now. Hear from Hugh Freeze, Mike Elko, and then Mark Stoops wrapping things up out there in Dallas, and that'll put a bow on Media Days, and then we'll, we're 44 days away from kickoff. It's full steam ahead to start of college football.
Is Mark Stoops going to say anything controversial?
Is anybody going to be left in the ballroom to listen to Mark Stoops?
No.
That might be a better question.
Well, you know, it was interesting. I saw somebody, and I can't properly credit because I don't know if I even paid attention to who posted it, but somebody posted a photo, and it was going around Twitter, X, whatever. And, you know, it used to be several years ago that, you know, when Nick Saban would walk into the hotel, there's all these fans.
Sure.
Right. And now geographically, a little bit closer to Alabama at that point, obviously. And that will return. We're not going to be out in Dallas. If you needed any sign that Texas is not going to, I know Texas isn't in Dallas, it's in Austin, but you needed any ammunition to the fact that Texas is not going to run the SEC, Nick Saban has already said they had to move. He's making a move back to the Southeast next year. But seriously, somebody posted a picture of and it was just empty. It was one dude kind of walking around. And I think that just illustrates a lot of things, yes, in Dallas, but also, it's just a different ball game from a media standpoint. I've talked to a lot of friends in the media, and there's plenty to discuss from media days, but it's not as big of an event as it used to be because, it used to be years ago, people would go out there, they're writing team previews for their paper, their website, and now just the media, the internet has just exploded.
Sure.
Not as many fans going out there. Maybe not even as many media members. And I think you're right. By the last day, people are just kind of, all right, we've had enough of this.
This goes back to, and obviously, Coach Beamer is somebody that we heard from several times at the Welcome Home events and all that kind of stuff, just since spring ball ended. But, I go back to some of you and Wes have talked about that, years ago. This might be the point in time where you learned about some guys that transferred onto the team that, like, Spurrier might get up there and said, we added 3 guys from wherever as transfers. And, well, that's news to me. Like, those kind of things obviously aren't breaking news necessarily. So when we kind of look at media days, we're hoping somebody gives us a little nugget of something that we didn't already know. But for the most part, everybody's going up there. They're hyping up their team. It's the best this team's ever looked. And it's the best group of guys have ever been around. And we got a tough schedule, but, we're going to win X amount of games. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, it's basically your chance to be a cheerleader for your own program, essentially.
It is. You get up there and say nice things about Greg Sankey and the SEC, and glad to be here, and our team GPA was this. And look, those things are all great. And, again, a lot of the questions that, like, Shane Beamer fielded were, Tim Jones from this Oklahoma radio station, and what do you think about Oklahoma? And, they are not around the program every day, so they need, I think, more than we do, like a high-level overview of what's been going on with the program. It was said the other day here that there's somebody out, and there's some national writer actually that was under the impression that Luke Doty was the quarterback this year. So they need that higher level overview sometimes, and I think that's what media days for us. I think Wes said this last week. The local kind of gaggle format where Shane Beamer's talking to the local reporters. That's where you tend to get a lot more meat on the bone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we would talk about the storylines of this team every single day, so nothing this week was necessarily going to surprise us, but the overall message, the Beamer conveyed as well as the player representatives, like, yeah, we know we're going to be doubted. Yeah, we know we're probably going to get picked pretty low, when the media poll comes out later on today, I guess when it is, but we know what we have here. We think we're going to be better at that, and we're just going to go out there and prove it on the field. Now, again, got to wait and see, obviously, but that's the right mindset to have.
It is. I mean, that's the mindset that you absolutely have to have. And it's interesting. There are several coaches that have been to the podium that are coming off seasons that were a disappointment, and a couple of them, and I don't really classify Beamer in that category, by the way, but a couple of them are firmly on the hot seat. Sam Pittman, getting up there.
Yep.
Hot seat. Billy Napier, same deal. He had to address some of that talk yesterday and had to give, an answer to kind of account for it. And so, I think some similarities in what all those coaches are going to say, and that, you got to go play the season, and see how it turns out. And I think we talked about this yesterday. I mean, for South Carolina, but there are some programs that you look at and you go, that's just going to be a tough road, right? You look at Arkansas, they brought back Bobby Petrino, et cetera, but you just look at the overall situation. And I think, maybe they come out and surprise, but I think it's going to be tough, and for South Carolina, it's going to be tough because they do have some questions. You look at their schedule, but I think South Carolina's in that category from everything we've seen and heard to where, maybe they reach a lot of the projections that are out there for them this season, like the ESPN FBI has them at exactly 6-6, 6.0.
Right.
In wins and losses. Maybe they're there. Maybe they're what Vegas thinks right now. But I don't think you have to stretch to see, okay, if it goes, if these few things happen, this could be a team that outperforms expectations. And this program, and Shane Beamer specifically, they have been there. First 2 years, outperform expectations. Last season did not live up to expectations. So it's all about, what do you do this year? And some changes were made in the offseason. They didn't go into this season doing the exact same thing. And you may say, well, they have a lot of the same coaches. Yeah, but not all. They have the same OC. They have the same DC. Yes. But have they changed the approach with some of those things in the workout program and the personnel? there are some differences. And so the key, obviously, as we've been discussing all offseason, is what they ultimately go and do with that.
Well, and, we talk about that more national perception, or at least broader scale of the SEC, not fully understanding everything about South Carolina, like the thinking Doty's going to be the quarterback this year. Obviously haven't been paying attention. There is like this narrative that is out there, though, that Beamer goes into this season on the hot seat. While we locally here don't believe that to be true based on everything that we know and how things go with this program, a lot of people out there do. Andy Staples of On3 was on the postgame show yesterday with Jay and Elijah, and they asked him directly his thoughts on that because he is somebody that represents things from a national perspective. Here's what he had to say about the hot seat talk as it relates to Coach Beamer.
Because you're not supposed to go backward. Right? It's the same thing with Billy Napier at Florida. Like, you're supposed to move forward and then have a good, what you're building to. And so that it happened out of order, and that's why people are. But I think, the 8-5 season before that offers a little bit of grace. Whereas, like, Billy Napier had a 6-7 season before his 5-7 season. And I think if you show growth, there's no problem. But I'm with you. It doesn't sound like there's a real issue with Beamer, that as long as they're making progress, everything's fine. Like, it would have to be a complete backslide, complete disaster situation for there to be a problem.
Right. And he's right, because you do have to look at the whole picture of things. And while, yes, obviously the record on the football field is what people are going to point to first, you do have to look at what you're doing with the program itself, the way you're recruiting, all those kind of things, and just how you're received here in general. And I feel like all those things are in Beamer's favor. And again, last year didn't go the way that anybody wanted it to go, but you can't ignore what happened in the first 2 years. Yeah, taking a step back sucks, but it doesn't mean that's what you're going to be permanently. Now, yes, this is definitely a year where Coach Beamer needs to put them in a better spot and at the very least get back to a bowl game to prove that, hey, yeah, year number 3 wasn't fun, but that's not what this program is going to be going forward. And, could he be on the hot seat in 25? Maybe, but that's a road we'll get to if we get there. But, well, again, we don't feel like he's in that spot right now.
Yeah, I think it's kind of getting out ahead to say, will this guy be on the hot seat a year from now? Like, we don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there were some people that saw 2023 coming that said, I think South Carolina will go 5-7. If so, congrats. I don't, generally I don't think people believe that. I was not in the camp that said, okay, they just won 8 games. Now they need to go win 9 or 10. I remember going into the season, my thought generally was, well, I mean, this could even be a better team, and maybe they only get to 8 wins. Now, they ended up not playing up to what I thought they would be or could be. And they're, we're not going to don't have to relitigate all that, but they obviously slipped back, and that was a problem because people do expect a progression, right? With Beamer, you kind of forget if you win 6 games when you were only quote unquote supposed to win 2 to 4 or 5. People kind of forget that because now you've established the bar. You won 6 games. So now you need to go do better the next season. They did, So now you look at it and go, all right. Like, you forget that in 2020 they won 2 games. Mm-hmm. You forget that in 2019 they won 4. Now there's kind of this idea, and there's some evidence. You have turned it around in terms of win-losses, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've now completely flipped and repositioned the program where that's your floor, is winning 6 to 8 games a year. That's not necessarily the case, especially for South Carolina, where it's more, low margin for error, more precarious from year to year. There were some issues with the program that certainly were exposed last season in many regards. And again, a lot of those things are things that hopefully South Carolina's addressed this offseason. But I agree with Andy, there does need to be a progression. And Beamer's different than Billy Napier because, Napier has not had a winning season at Florida. He has not. You couldn't look at what he's done in 2 years and say that he's surpassed expectations.
Sure.
He hasn't. Sure. He's 6-7, 3-5 in the league, 5-7, 3-5 in the league. He's made 1 bowl. That's not, as opposed to Shane Beamer. Now, he's had an extra year here in Columbia, but Shane Beamer, as I said earlier, has surpassed expectations his first 2 year, slipped in year 3. And so the thing is, what is your trajectory? Yes, you had the down year, but now you have an opportunity to right that ship. And so it's all about what you do. It's not about 2023 anymore. It's about 24 and what you do with this opportunity to kind of make things right and get ththings back on track.
Quickly to wrap up this segment, you talk about those expectations. Beamer through 3 years, 20 and 18, again, 7-6, 8-5, 5-7, 2 bowl trips. When he was hired, when you were envisioning what this program would look like going into year number 4, are we around where you probably thought they were going to be?
Oh, man. I may have to think about that one the entire show. So
might be a good question for tomorrow to expand on.
Off the top of my head, here's how I think about it, if this makes sense, and it might not. So we're beyond what I thought for years 1 and 2, and but at the same time, I didn't think year 3 would be 5 and 7, right? So again, I hate to keep saying this, but like, what do you do with year 4? If you get back to a bowl and winning 8 games, like, you are back on track.
Sure.
And I didn't look at Shane Beamer saying year 3 and 4, they need to be in Atlanta. I really didn't think of it that way. And I think progress and where a program is not necessarily like at a program like South Carolina, you can't point at it like you can Georgia or something and say, all right, if they're not in Atlanta by X year, this thing is a complete failure. It's a little bit different here. Sure. You would like to get it to the point where your floor is everybody is extremely ticked off if you win 10 games in a season and you're not competing for a title, right? That's what you want to get to, but historically, South Carolina hasn't been there. So it's a little bit more, or a lot more actually, of a climb for them. I would say it's kind of a mixed bag with what I thought. I think, again, this year is going to be much more of a measure of, okay, you look back at the whole of the 4 years, what has happened and how has the program been built up over that amount of time? Because I think we all looked at it when Beamer got here and said, yeah, this is a multi-year project. I think everybody thought that.
Right, absolutely. We mentioned Billy Napier there a moment ago. He spoke to the media yesterday, and he's very much on the hot seat. We'll let you hear a little bit of what he had to say and dive into the Florida program as the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs rolls on your Thursday here on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
This summer, Hardee's and The Game are teaming up for a back-to-school supply drive that's all about giving back. Help us by dropping off essential supplies like pens, pencils, folders, and calculators at Hardee's locations like 496 Piney Grove Road in Columbia. We will be on site July 13th, 20th, and 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for drop-off. Let's make sure every student and teacher starts the school year off right. Together, we can make a difference in Richland 1 and Richland 2 school districts. Anyone who donates school supplies will receive one free 3-piece chicken tenders coupon from Hardee's. Limit one coupon per donating customer while supplies last. Hardee's and The Game, partnering to support our community.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Our friends over at Midland's Home Renovations are top-rated general contractors here in the Midlands. They specialize in both interior and exterior residential remodeling services. So if you are taking a look at your kitchen, man, we got to level this thing up. Or, hey, our bathroom is super outdated, lots of problems. They can help you out with that. They can even help you with roofing and siding installations. Their team over at Midland's Home Renovations works closely with you as a homeowner to understand your vision and bring it to life with precision and attention to detail. They serve various communities right here in the Midlands. Total home renovations are even on the table for you. Go check them out. MidlandsHomeRenovations.com. Get yourself a free quote by calling 803-868-5651. That's our friends over at Midlands Home Renovations.
Hazelwood Brewery and Beer Garden on Main Street in Lexington. Experience the character of the historic tap room and outdoor space along the newly finished Old Mill Pond Trail. Hazelwood Beer is where creativity and quality meet, making for a one-of-a-kind craft beer experience. Family-friendly, pet-friendly, and a perfect place for your next gathering. Visit hazelwoodbeerco.com or call 803-785-3947 to get more info or book a space.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
44 days till kickoff.
While others take full advantage of the market with ridiculous add-on stickers, Love never sells above MSRP. Come experience the difference at Love Chevy, your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
After working in a hospital for 7 years, I'm excited to have the opportunity to be a supervisor, which allows me to have a predictable schedule to spend more time with my son. Public health nursing gives me the ability to make a difference in my community by building relationships with my clients. It's rewarding to be able to care for residents where I live and see lives being changed. Make public health your passion.
For more information, visit dph.sc.gov/careers.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, for many years, AAA has been your year-round ally against changing weather across the Midlands, whether it's the hot summers or those cool winters. Let their expert team make sure that your home is always an oasis of comfort. And now, Roy and Dana Finley have a spectacular offer to make it even better for you and your family for years to come. How about 12 months, no payments or interest in 2024, plus guaranteed financing, a $1,500 system buyback rebate, and their 15-year parts and labor guarantee that speaks volumes of the trust in their service and in their products. AAA has done things at my house that make my family nice and comfortable all year long. They can do it for you too. Get a free quote today. Call AAAtoday.com. That's call AAAtoday.com or give them a shout at 803-677-1500. Tell them Jay Phillips sent you to AAA Heating and Air.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Honey, look, the hookers. They've moved off the highway and now they're all over the parking lot.
What are all those Schroeder's towing trucks doing in that parking lot, though?
Must be towing all those unauthorized cars parked in the lot. Good thing the business owner called Schroeder's Towing to keep their parking lot clear for just their customers. Didn't those cars see the free signage that Schroeder's provides to business owners to deter unauthorized parking?
I guess not.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Strengthening the lives of children and families is a passion. Turn that passion into results as a child welfare case manager. Learn more at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour
with Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head
on the Game Network.
Welcome back in Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you on your Thursday here on the game. We'll be checking with Elijah coming up in a few minutes for final day of SEC Media Days out there on Radio Row in Dallas. Do want to remind you, Game and Hardee's teaming up to make sure school students in the Richland 1 and Richland 2 school districts have all supplies they need for the start of the school year. Going to be broadcasting live Saturday from 2 until 4 at the Hardee's at 496 Piney Grove Road, collecting school supplies. If you make school supplies donation, by the way, you'll get a gift certificate for an order of 3-piece chicken strips from Hardee's as well. So come by. I believe Terry's going to be out there at that Piney Grove location again Saturday from 2 until 4 for school supplies for the Richland 1 and Richland 2 school districts. We mentioned Billy Napier a moment ago, and, you know, when talking about interesting things going into media days, what Napier was going to have to say about the state of the Florida program, as well as his future as the head coach there, was something that I think was intriguing to a lot of people. And Napier took to the podium yesterday and talked a little bit about the objectives they have for year number 3 out there in Gainesville.
Well, I think the game has changed quite a bit. You know, I think it probably, we're evaluating the game over the last couple of years. It's changed significantly every 6 months, every season, every off season. So not only are we trying to create culture at Florida, we're building new facilities, we're creating infrastructure. You go back to the very beginning, you're hiring a staff, you're trying to improve the roster. The game continued to evolve while we've been doing that, right? So that's where the challenge has been. So, you know, I'm on the inside, right? I get a chance to be around our staff and our players going all the way back to the beginning of this offseason. So that's what gives me confidence. You know, I think you got to get consumed with the process, not the outcome to some degree. And the thing that I would say with conviction is we have been very close. You know, we played in a lot of close games. We've got to learn how to close those games out. And I think that's where the leadership and experience of this team, we have to leverage that experience, the lessons that we've learned, get in position in the fourth quarter and close those games out consistently.
Yeah, I mean, with Napier, first of all, sorry for the delay. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to wake up. Yeah. He can put coffee to sleep.
You know, I get what he's saying, right? Because most coaches are going to go up and talk about some form of trusting the process and all those things. But, man, as we know, Florida is a little bit of a different job. It's a pressure cooker.
Sure.
And it's a weird job because it's got what you would think are a lot of built-in advantages.
Mm-hmm.
It's historically been a very good program because there have been a couple coaches, great coaches, in Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer who have had incredible success there, winning titles, winning national titles, and multiple conference championships. There's also been a lot of coaches that have not done very well. You know, before Steve Spurrier got to Florida, Florida was not Florida.
Right.
You know, even though they were in the state of Florida, lots of high school, they weren't very good. Spurrier got there, really revolutionized them. When Spurrier left, they fell off. Urban Meyer revitalized it. Since Urban Meyer left, they've had pockets of success, but that's it. They've had multiple coaches that have been fired from there for not living up to the standard. But at some point, so I get what Napier's saying, right? And obviously when you have a coaching change, there is a bit of a rebuild, even at a place like Florida. But at Florida and in the year 2024 with college football, I don't know if you want to be in year 3 still talking about having to put a staff together.
Right.
I don't know if you want to be talking about trusting the process, because people want results there. Well, they want to win, and they want to win in a specific way, too.
Sure.
Like, you have to win in an exciting fashion at Florida.
Oh, absolutely. No, your expectations when you are the head coach of Florida is you should be competing for the SEC on a regular basis. You should be in the mix for the playoff national championship as well. And obviously, Florida's not done a whole lot of that over the past, 10 or so years since Urban Meyer left. But, the putting the staff together thing is interesting because they cleaned house. Yeah. On defense, with the exception of their defensive coordinator, Austin Armstrong. But it's like, well, you clearly didn't make the right hires in the first place to where you were having to make those decisions after year number 2. So you can't really use that as an excuse because those were guys that you hired initially that ended up not working out. But that's another thing they're having to go back to the drawing board, this year. And look, they get a lot of talent back this year. Graham Mertz in year number 2, and he was solid at Florida. Nobody's going to put him in contention for the Heisman by any means, but he was fine. We saw him have a career day here at South Carolina when they came and played back in October, and I know. But, they have a fine team, but their schedule is just a bear. It's the toughest schedule in the entire country to where I don't see anybody looking at that saying, yeah, I think they can manage that.
And Tyler, I know it's July 18th, right? And I have said this many times that it's about who you sign in, well, nowadays December, but at the end of the day, in February, most of your guys will be in the boat in December, and you got the portal now, but it's all about who you sign. But that said, Florida is 52nd in the On3 team recruiting rankings.
Right.
That should never happen.
No.
Under any circumstance. It should not be the case in July even. Now, will they finish 52nd? I doubt it. But that's not a great sign. They are, and I saw a graphic that had this on there the other day. I think they're like next to last. They're certainly in the bottom sixth of the conference in recruiting. And at Florida, that should not happen. You know, that's the problem. When you got right now Indiana, Minnesota, Mississippi State, Syracuse, Purdue, Duke, Iowa are have recruited better than Florida if you go by recruiting. Now, Billy would say, well, it's July, or, you know, we evaluate better. Whatever. I get it. And recruiting rankings in July aren't everything, but it does show when you pair it with two very underwhelming seasons, you're on the hot seat. You can't point to it and say, man, they're just killing it in recruiting right now. They're not, you know. Right. So what does all that add up to? You better go have a good season. And as you just pointed out, it is going to be really, really hard to do that. So, you know, maybe in November we're like, man, look at the year Florida had. They really turned it around. Maybe so. But if they don't, if they're struggling at that point, it's not going to go well.
And, you know, I'm sure when they signed the deal to play Miami and UCF in non-conference this year, they probably thought, however many years ago that was.
It was like 18 years ago, probably.
Those games would be fine. You might not win either one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, do you have their schedule in front of you?
I do.
Okay.
So we're going to hit Miami and Samford to start off with. You should beat Samford. A&M and Mississippi State. All right, those games might go your way. UCF, at Tennessee, Kentucky, before your final bye week, and the murderer's row of Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State.
Yeah, 5 games in November. You got the Jacksonville game. You got to go on the road to FSU and Texas. You know, your only consolation is you do get LSU and Ole Miss back-to-back weeks at home. But
yeah,
that's not much consolation. So, yeah, it is I mean, they could stumble into November when they've got those 5 games. It's not like you go, all right, you know, first part of the season and then, look at November. No, it's really, look at that entire schedule.
Right.
And November could kind of finish it up. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult this season for Florida. They haven't figured it out so far. And, man, God, you brought up that game last year, Tyler. Why did you do that?
Well, and unfortunately, they're not on the schedule this year to get your lick back. You got to wait at least 2 more years to see him again. Who knows who their head coach is going to be at that point in time?
Yeah, Lane Kiffin. I'm just kidding. That is kind of the rumor in college football, you know, that if it doesn't work out, they would.
Lane Kiffin takes every job in college football.
Not last time. He didn't take Auburn.
He did not, though. I think he had one foot on the plane, ready to go. And then they're like, hey, here's some money. Stick around Oxford.
If I'm Lane, I'm chilling in Oxford for as long as they'll have me. But I'm not Lane, and he's not me, and he's a little bit of a different bird.
Well, Joey Freshwater's a different kind of cat. We'll check in with Elijah Campbell live from Radio Row. Last day of SEC Media Days. Coming up next, it is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on your Thursday on the game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Our friends at Firehouse Subs are the presenting sponsor every day here on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on the Game, and we are 1 week away from our next Firehouse Live show. I'm not even going to tell you the location yet. You got to keep listening to the show every single day, and eventually we'll reveal it to you. But we'll be at a Firehouse Subs location next Thursday from 9 to noon. That's the plan. We'll let you know if it changes, and then we'll let you know where. In the meantime, if you want a Firehouse Sub like I do, it's easy to get one. 14 different locations in the Midlands, so wherever you are in the Midlands, there's a Firehouse Subs near you. You can avoid the wait and order online using the Rapid Rescue to Go, and there's 2 very easy ways to do that. First, you can go to firehouseSubs.com. It'll give you the location closest to you, and you can use the Rapid Rescue to Go, use Apple Pay, super easy, or download the Firehouse Subs app. That's my favorite way to do it. Earn yourself some rewards towards future purchases. FirehouseSubs.com or the Firehouse Subs app today.
Save big during Hand & Stone's Christmas in July gift card sale. Gift cards for 1-hour massage or facial start at only $69.95. Discover relaxation at any of their 3 locations or handandstone.com. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to indulge yourself or someone special.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal. Right now, get a whopping $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, 20 grand off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Do you remember your first Gamecock game? Who you were with and where did you sit? Where did you tailgate? What were you wearing? The idea that all those memories can come flooding back the moment you set foot on campus is real. So this year and every year, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Get your tickets today and catch a game at any time for any sport. Online at GamecocksOnline.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to escape it all and make your shower feel as luxurious as a bubble bath. With new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash, the sweet scent of roses and cherries surrounds you, while the thick, creamy lather covers your skin in moisturizing layers of vitamin B3 complex. It'll turn your shower into a spa. The real world will still be out there, so indulge in here just a little while longer. Available in 5 luxurious scents at your local retailer and online.
This year, Roy and Dana Finley are shaking things up at AAA Heating and Air. For the next 12 months, they're telling their customers no. Get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest until 2025. And don't forget their 15-year parts and labor warranty, $1,500 old system buyback, and guaranteed financing. So do what I did. Call AAA Heating and Air for your free estimate today and tell them Jay Phillips sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet
on the Game Network.
And welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler Head and Chris Clark along with you here on your Thursday, the final day of SEC Media Days. It means one final report from Radio Row in Dallas.
Coming to you live from Media Row, from the Omni Hotel in Dallas, the 2024 SEC Media Days on the Game Network.
And we now check in with our guy, Elijah Campbell, who's just telling me about the beautiful scenery of the Dallas skyline from where they're positioned out there on Radio Row. It probably seems like it's been a month you guys have been out there. What's the vibes for day number 4 getting ready to close things out?
It does kind of have like a semi-sonic closing time feel to it. You know, you can hear the opening guitar riff a little bit, and, you know, here in a couple hours, we're about to hit the you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here type deal. So it does have a feeling of conclusion and a little bit of anticlimacticness with some of the people that are talking today. I love Sam Pittman. I hold firm belief that every single SEC coach that ever participates in this league should sound like Sam Pittman sounds. But Mike Elko could walk through this thing without any A&M gear on. No one would spot him out in the crowd. Hugh Freeze is whatever, but it's not as strong of a finish as we've had during the week. But yeah, I've soaked up the views. I was telling you, during the break that I hadn't really stopped and thought about it till now. That like we are positioned right from a big old window where we're looking directly at the Dallas skyline, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's also wild to think we spent like 5 days here.
I was gonna say, how much debauchery have you guys gotten into in the night portion of media days?
Mild debauchery. Now, the last night we kept it pretty tame. Hung out a little bit. This is how tame it was. The person who sat behind the booth behind me at the sports bar here in the hotel was Hugh Freeze and Chris Lowe. So I mean, it wasn't getting too wild, but you'd be amazed at the people that you run into here for a little bit. I know you're very familiar with the work of one DJ Shockley.
Oh, yes.
Got to talk to DJ Shockley a little bit a couple nights ago after we returned from throwing footballs at bowling pins, and that was a lot of fun. So it was cool to get to meet him and talk about some early 2000s classic SEC battles. But that was, in terms of debauchery, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's a good 6.5 for me. Debauchery for me as someone in their late 20s is a little different than Jay Phillips. Jay had maybe an additional craft beer, which might have taken us total to 3 one night, which for him might be like a 9, a 10 on the debauchery scale. And we kept Terry Ford out of jail, so this is like a 5 out of 10 on his debauchery scale.
That's a win for the whole week.
We kept it tame.
Yeah, that's definitely difficult to keep Terry out of trouble.
That is, and it's like we're saving money.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're saving the company money by making sure we don't have to bail Terry out. Yeah.
And Jay really tying one on with the three craft selections for Jay. I love it. Be careful, by the way, if you run into Hugh Freeze again.
Right. If he took one more, it'd be dangerous.
Don't say something negative about Hugh Freeze. He will DM you and call you out on it. That is his MO, apparently.
It's his MO.
It is his MO. All right.
Dude, I was actually kind of hoping he would over here. So it's really funny. I was hoping he would overhear me, maybe talking junk about him, just so I can be part of that illustrious group of people who have received DMs from Hugh Freeze.
I want to ask you about what you've learned, just over this past, I don't know if you got a chance to, you did get a chance to check out Sam Pittman because you're talking about his illustrious voice. Billy Napier, on the other hand, nobody should sound like him. Extremely boring. But what have you learned maybe with these last few coaches that have taken the podium? Any big significant takeaways?
No, nothing that's groundbreaking or something that, when we do our prep, for people that do what we do, you really do come into an event like this knowing most of the information that ends up being given out. Even when it comes to roster construction, the stuff around conference realignment, but you do get to exchange a lot of notes with people. You do get to, when you hear coaches, you get to hear at least like tones. I like to listen to more of tone than anything else, because you read transcript and you're like, oh yeah, Sam Pittman must really like Taylor Green at quarterback, and then you hear him and it's like maybe he didn't sound as thrilled about his quarterback situation. That's just a small example. But in terms of what I've learned from talking to a lot of the people here who've also had conversations with coaches in their local media, is it's kind of a random one too, but LSU, as much as they're losing a ton on offense. I mean, the Heisman Trophy winner, 2 first-round NFL draft picks. The people that cover the team and Brian Kelly themselves, and that coaching staff are very high on Garrett Nussmeier, and it feels legit, right? Like you can tell when someone's BSing enthusiasm. But I think they feel like they're in a position where they're not going to fall off a cliff offensively, which most teams that lose what they lose normally would. And I find that fascinating, though, because obviously they're going to come to town in late September, and that's going to be a really pivotal game for South Carolina, because I think that's one of the more stealable ones. So I have been trying to dig a little bit on LSU since I've been here, and the consensus is South Carolina is going to get them at the best part, which is early in the season. But if they were to play that game late, then LSU will probably end up being pretty big favorites, because the expectation is that the offense will still be putting up really good numbers, and the defense not being as bad as last year. I don't know if it could have been worse. So, Caroline Fenton, a friend of mine I used to work with in Nashville's at Yahoo Sports now, has covered LSU for a long time. She said, well, when the bar is the floor, it's going to be easy to clear. And if they're able to clear it with that $2.5 million investment in Blake Baker at D.C., if they can clear it just a little bit, they can still end up not taking as big a drop-off as I initially thought they would coming into this event.
Well, one program whose bar is certainly a lot higher than the floor is Texas. They've kind of been the star of the show this week. Sarkisian spoke to the media yesterday. I'm sure the ballroom was packed to the gills with all the people from every paper in the greater Dallas area. Has your perception of Texas changed at all from everything that you've seen and heard this week?
Really, the only thing that would change my perception is just like how serious they are about being in the SEC. And I knew that was like a kind of a duh thing, but when you notice that they had this much media presence, I mean, if I wanted to step away from the show for a bit to talk to Quinn Ewers at his media availability, wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to get 7 or 8 rows to at least be in sight of him to maybe be able to jump up and down and raise my hand to ask a question. That wouldn't have been possible. He was the most popular guy at media days this week, and the circus around Texas is very much real. And in terms of what they're going to be on the field, I'm higher on them, I think, than some of us here at the station. I think Texas is really good. I submitted my ballot for the predicted order of finish in the SEC. I took Georgia 1, and the biggest thing I had to think about was who I'm taking 2, whether it be Ole Miss or Texas, and I ultimately went with Ole Miss. But I think Texas is legit on the field. I don't think they're going to have as hard a time with the integration process into the SEC than some people do think, because they get guys drafted now. They went like a decade without getting anybody drafted in high places. Now they recruit like an SEC team. Last year they won like an SEC team and did what a lot of SEC teams can't do, and that's go into Alabama and beat them in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So really, with Texas, my perception's really only changed with getting to see it in person and see what type of attention they've commanded at this event.
Well, I'm glad to know you're not one of those people that voted Vanderbilt to win the conference like a couple of people inevitably do every single year, but you also have a lot of great partners out there allowing you guys to be out there at Media Days. We'll let you thank some of them.
Yes, absolutely, and one of our favorites for a long time, Forest Lake Travel, the official travel agent of the Game Network, and whether it's family vacation or a road trip to Gamecocks road games, you might need to give our friend Daisy Miller a call for the Oklahoma game, because that might take a little more planning than, say, going to Knoxville or Lexington or any other road trip, Athens, that the Gamecock faithful have had to take in the past. So if you're interested in hitting her up to help her or have her help you get to Norman this year, give her a call, Forest Lake Travel. That is 803-738-1520, the Anastapula Law Firm. Don't scream, call Akeem, even though I am not one for holding my composure. That is something I will consider. And Ziegler Kart Sales, providing top-notch golf carts in service for over 20 years. Their number, if you're interested, 843-621-5016. And then lastly, TEC Equipment Rental, your local Takeuchi dealer. Go ahead, check them out online on the internet at www.tecrental.com.
All right, we'll let you get back to it. By the way, if you see McGee walking around today, he's wearing flip-flops. Not sure why he's doing that, but the word was seeing his feet on SEC Nation a little bit earlier, so be warned.
We got to roast him. Even I, someone who does not like to wear closed-toed shoes in the months of May to September, bit the bullet and wore shoes every day at this event. So
probably the smart and professional thing to do. We'll check back with you guys at the top of the hour.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right. Elijah Campbell live out at SC Media Days. And again, we'll throw back out him, Terry, and Jay coming up at noon as they wrap up things out there in Dallas. We'll come back, wrap up today's edition of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here in the game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
This summer, Hardee's and the Game are teaming up for a back-to-school supply drive that's all about giving back. Help us by dropping off essential supplies like pens, pencils, folders, and calculators at Hardee's locations like 496 Piney Grove Road in Columbia. We will be on site July 13th, 20th, and 27th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for drop-off. Let's make sure every student and teacher starts the school year off right. Together, we can make a difference in Richland 1 and Richland 2 school districts. districts. Anyone who donates school supplies will receive one free 3-piece chicken tenders coupon from Hardee's. Limit one coupon per donating customer while supplies last. Hardee's and the game, partnering to support our community.
This is Maggie Gray with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Vanguard. Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian threw some red meat to the Texas faithful when he said at SEC Media Days that they'll need both Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning to get through this season. While Ewers does have an injury history, if Arch gets playing time and plays well, would that change to the backup be for good? I'm Maggie Gray.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Hey guys, it's Preston Thorne for your broker, my broker, Benji Getzi at Buford Lending. Buford Lending is a true mortgage broker offering the widest variety of government mortgage programs and the best mortgage experience for clients through its state-of-the-art technology and record low interest rates. Their goal is to make your next mortgage experience a closing easier, cheaper, faster, and friendlier. Whatever you do, don't wait. Shop and lock your rate today with Buford Lending. Don't go to Wall Street. The rates are better on Bay Street. Online at Buford.mortgage.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's that? You're a South Carolina resident turning 65 and approaching retirement, but you haven't chosen your Medicare coverage yet? Don't panic. Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina has you covered. Our Medicare team is standing by to help you find a plan that lets you choose from our large network of doctors and hospitals and fast local service. Don't wait. Call 833-747-0533. 833-747-0533 today.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour
with Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head
on the Game Network.
Boom! Big hit Clowney with the fumble recovery. Oh my goodness.
What a hit. He knocked his helmet off and picked up the football. Look at that.
From that play, that's what you call the ball does not lie. Because South Carolina was supposed to get the ball to play before.
Oh, Jadeveon Clowney with the hit. South Carolina has the football. That guy's going to be a long-time pro in the NFL, and you can see why right there.
Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler and Chris, along with you here, wrapping up today's edition of the show before we throw things back out there to Media Days out in Dallas. That was something that the SEC Network had the Carolina crew do on Monday, giving their own commentary version of Clowney's famous Outback Bowl hit. I got to say, Luke Doty, when his football career is over, might have a career behind the headset as well.
Little broadcast.
That's pretty good.
I think Luke could do a lot of different things.
I'm sure he could.
Might be a suit model, actually.
Honestly,
pretty spiffy in that suit.
Him and Debo, different dynamic, but
and Boogie,
both those guys, and Boogie too.
They're all rocking the suit. Yeah, no, that was good stuff. We have got to, by the way, and somebody actually suggested this on the forums, on the Insiders Forum on Gamecock Central. I mean, there's got to be some tie-in where we can have some tournament with the players.
Oh, 1,000%. I hope so.
They've had some time to practice. There's got to be some type of NIL fundraiser, charity fundraiser. That'd be better, charity fundraiser. That's what we need to do, where we get these players to play the game.
Can we get where, is it at the indoor facility where they have the big screen that comes down?
They have, they have a big screen in the corner there because they play like highlights and stuff.
Okay.
From past games, like during camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice setup.
Hook up
speakers.
Hook up a PlayStation. You know, we'll go, I don't know, 5-minute quarters, kind of short games.
Yep. Shorten it up.
Get a little bracket going. This could work.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. By the way, I wonder, I will be very curious. I'm not going to text him and bug him. I think he's genuinely trying to unplug a little bit. I do wonder if Wes has packed the PS5 to take to the beach.
I mean, are you going to let it sit at home for a week?
You wouldn't want
after
to do
you
that.
just got it.
Yeah, it might not work. You know, it needs to be used.
Now, you do have to lay some ground rules. Like, you're there with the wife, obviously, and it's like, okay, I will only play for like an hour at night after we've gone to dinner, after we've gone out and done all the fun stuff for the day. I just, need, for research purposes, just need to figure out what's going on. Got to build whatever school he's leading to a dynasty.
Yes. I think, like I said, the clip that Wes sent me was from South Carolina. That's probably just an exhibition game. Just kind of get your feet wet again. Yeah, you got to get used to it. But I do think my guess is he'll probably have a South Carolina dynasty, but probably not going to be making a lot of progress during the beach.
Probably not.
I don't think so. But still got to go out and get it, Tyler. I got to go. I think I'm going Xbox.
Okay, a little cheaper. Nothing wrong with that.
For those that have been following our journey on here, I think I'm going to Xbox Series S, and we'll see where it goes.
Nothing wrong with that. Again, I didn't want to switch controls after being a PlayStation guy for so many years, but it does save you a couple $100, so that's not a bad thing by any means. By the way, the Devo clip there of his version of that commentary, I almost sensed kind of an anger in his voice, which I guess being a defensive guy, like, no, they should have had the ball to play before that. Ball don't lie.
Well, that's why he was angry. He said, if you saw the clip before, that, by the way, that is one of the most classic Spurrier clips.
Phenomenal.
I cannot get it. I mean, I watch it over and over sometimes. He's absolutely incredulous at the official.
And how old was he at that point in time?
Oh, 60-something.
And he's just
going
full
crazy.
Of energy.
Everybody going. I mean, he's pointing at the ball. I can hear his you can't literally hear him, but I can just hear it in my head.
Yeah.
Look at the ball. I can just hear it.
It was a terrible.
I think I've told you this before and said it on the air, but the theory that I believe it was the late Brad Lawing had this. He wouldn't even if Coach Lawing were in here now, he wouldn't say it's a theory. Even he would say this is just what happened. I mean, I can't verify it.
Okay,
but he said that the official just acts like he messed up. He pointed the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
He pointed the wrong because Brad Lawing was there.
Yeah.
So he pointed the wrong way, but had to just go with it.
Right, because you can't be like, oh, actually, wait a minute, it's this way.
Yeah, which I mean, I think you can because we've seen you've seen officials whoopsie, kind of do a little bit of a mess up there.
Too
a lot
much
of
pride.
Catch them. Yeah, but he just went with it. It's like what?
Ball does not lie, and it did not lie that day.
No, it didn't. I mean, that you got to be glad it happened because that was one of the. I mean, it's an iconic play.
Sure.
Not only for South Carolina, but just college football history.
I'll have to send you the video. I saw a deep dive on whatever happened to that running back from Michigan after that game. I'll have to find that and send it to you because, I mean, it's not like tragic or anything, but it's interesting to know like the other side of the story on what happened that day. That'll do it for today's edition of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Coming up next, halftime show from SEC Media Days, final day on Radio Row in Dallas. Up next here on The Game.
1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media. If you have been playing the new college football game, you need to make sure you have a great setup. Our friends can help you level it up. Michael and Nathan, they've been out to my home. They can come out to yours. They've been out to Wes's house, too. They actually put a bunch of my old video game systems on a switcher to where I don't have to have all the different cords, you know, the red and yellow cord and all those different things. They're all lost in a big pile. They hooked it up for me, so if we ever pull out the old N64 or any of that stuff, we can just play it easily, the Wii, all of that. So when I do go get my new Xbox Series S or PS5, whatever I end up getting to play the new game, I'm going to make sure I give them a call so they can come hook it up for me. They can help you source your new TV equipment, Sonos wireless speakers, great internet signal, anything from an audio-visual standpoint, they can do it for you. Give them a call, 803-948-8327 or integratedmediainc.com. Integrated Media.
Self-care is so important, and the Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa's Christmas in July gift card sale is the perfect way to treat yourself or a loved one to some well-deserved relaxation. Whether it's a massage, facial, or other spa treatment, taking time for self-care can truly make a difference in one's overall health and happiness. For a limited time only, 1-hour massage and facial gift cards start at only $69.95. Discover relaxation at any of their 3 convenient locations across the Columbia area or handandstone.com to purchase online. Offer valid at participating locations for only a limited time.
Hi, this is Rudy Gatlin of the Gatlin Brothers. Y'all come join us July 20th at the farm at Ridgeway. We're going to have some barbecue, and then them Gatlin boys are going to sing a bunch of them hits, and we're going to have a big time. Y'all come on, join us.
July 19th and 20th barbecue competition, live music, food trucks, drinks, and more. Visit PWEDWEENT.com to purchase Gatlin Brother tickets 7 p.m. Saturday, or sample the barbecue at the farm at Ridgeway. Presented by Owens Corning and the farm at Ridgeway.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
Hi, I'm April Rose, and we all know about the speed of sound. But have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you might hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion, Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station.
The halftime show.
Live from Media Row at the 2024 SEC Media Days in Dallas.
2024 SEC Media Days is sponsored by TEC Equipment Rental, the Anastapula Law Firm, Forest Lake Travel, Lexington Medical Center, Lawyer Lisa, Ziegler Carts, Behringer General Store, and Mr. P's Pools and Pool Supply.
Exclusively on the Game Network.
The final day of 2024 SEC Media Days. We are hanging out live on Radio Row at the Omni in Dallas. Terry Ford, Elijah Campbell, Jay Phillips, Tyler Head.